This next piece, Araldo Overture by Verdi, originally started out as the overture to the opera Stiffelio in 1850. The opera did not do well, it was not successful, and then in 1857 there was another opera by this name, Araldo, and Verdi decided to use the same music for this one. So Araldo was really the second time that he used this music. Now, it's very interesting. Verdi wrote close to 40 operas. A lot of them have been eliminated from the repertoire, but his music is played everywhere around the world, and it seems like his overtures and ballet music and the incidental music for all the ones that are gone are still being played, and this is one of the best in my opinion. It's a credit to the band to try this because it is not difficult, but it's very complex, which you will find out. This is the Araldo Overture by Verdi. We're going to hold off on the next one because our soloist is stuck on the parkway. So when he's here, we will do the Trumpeter's Prayer. I'm sure he's saying the Trumpeter's Prayer right now. So we're going ahead with the Espana Waltz by Waldteufel. And there's some interesting things about this. Waldteufel was born into an Alsatian family. His name was Charles Emile Lévy, and his father, grandfather, and two uncles were professional musicians, kind of society musicians, very successful, and Emile followed in that vein. And he, I know, had at least 265 published works, many waltzes, galops and polkas, etc., among other things. And his music was always in the shadow of Johann Strauss the Younger, because Strauss was so popular in Europe. What happened was in 1874, the Prince of Wales, who then became later on the King Edward VII, happened to be on a European tour, heard Waldteufel's music, and contracted him to come to London and play for royal events, among other things, and he became very, very successful and very famous. His most famous piece is the La Patineur, or the Skater Waltz. The other two that you may recognize, one is Estudiantina, because it became part of the, it was the source of the Rheingold, the dry beer commercial. Some of you may remember that. And this one, hard to believe, but although the melodies were borrowed from Chabrier's Espana Rhapsody, you'll recognize the popular song, Hot Diggity Dog Diggity. So this is the Espana Waltz by Emile Waldteufel. That translated means forest devil. Why they chose that, I'm not sure, but that's the truth. Espana Waltz. All right, our soloist, your prayers were answered. Eric Robert Shaw, who conducted the last concert, very, very good conductor and an excellent trumpeter, and he's our soloist. We're gonna leave the solo back there because there's a second part that goes along with this, and that will be played by Keith Heron. So, yeah, I think he's going to move this, so they'll be closer together and it'll work out much better. Usually the soloists come up front, but it works out better back there. So this is The Trumpeter's Prayer by Tutti Camarata. This next piece, One Moment in Time, this was performed by Whitney Houston for the 1988 Summer Olympics. And it seems like a very popular piece. Everybody seems to like it, and we're going to play it for you now. The solo was played by Joe Hetman. All right, this piece, which is the last one on the first half, is Symphonia March. It was written by Merle Evans. Now, Merle Evans was considered the Toscanini of circus band directors. He conducted the Barnum and Bailey circus band from 1919 to 1969. He was the longest serving circus band director in history. He immediately followed Carl King, who was the former band director for the Barnum and Bailey circus. So this particular march was Symphonia March dedicated to Mr. Charles Ringling of Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus. So we're going to close the first half with the Symphonia March, and we will refer to this later on in the program. So we're giving the band a break, and there are intermission activities going on, which I'm sure you'll hear about very shortly. So in 2004, I got a gift as a recording of the Ministry of Defense Band in Moscow, formerly the Red Army Band. And there was a piece of music that I wanted to get so we could play it. And I searched all over the world. I went to a site which was Bands of the World. So I went to the Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, France, Canada, every military band that I could find. Finally, after almost a year, somehow I got in contact with Colonel Klankhammer of the Bundeswehr, which is in Germany, and he said, well, I can't help you, but you can contact my friend, Colonel Alexander Pavlov, who conducts the Ural the Ministry of Defense Band in Ekaterinburg, which is, by the way, the city where the Tsar Nicholas II and his family were assassinated. So I got in touch with the translator, and finally I got, in February of 2005, I got 5 pieces from the Russian military band music, and one of them is this piece, the Concert March, and it was composed by Isak Dunievsky. Dunievsky was the foremost composer of movie music in the 20s and 30s in the Soviet Union. And he was highly acclaimed and very famous, and he wrote this march, and the Colonel Pavlov wrote this about this piece. It says, the Concert March by Isak Dunievsky was composed with the intention to show the Russian Revolution flame of the 20s and 30s of the 20th century. All strokes, meaning notes, should be performed precisely and exaggeratedly. The same should be done with expression marks, and he actually notated exactly how to play these notes in this letter. And interestingly enough, Dunievsky was born in 1900, died in 1955, and in 1953, during the Stalin's Doctor Plot, Dunievsky was asked or required, and he refused to turn in or denounce a relative of his who was a doctor, and he kind of fell out of favor and died very suddenly in 1955 of a heart attack, we think. So anyway, this is the Concert March by Isak Dunievsky. It does have the fire and flame of the revolution. You will find, I'm sure. Oh, I forgot. This is a picture of the Ministry of Defense Band in Ekaterinburg. This is the Colonel Pavlov, and this statue here is Marshal Georgy Zhukov, the hero of World War II, and it's very interesting. The Russians have the most fantastic music you can possibly imagine. It's unfortunate that they are in a system that isn't as good. Anyway, Concert March. This next piece you may recognize from many years ago. It was used for the Lincoln car commercial. It's a very famous piece by Dmitri Shostakovich, and we call it Waltz Number 2 from the Jazz Suite Number 2, but they call it a suite for variety stage orchestra. That's a terminology that they use over there. In any case, this is Waltz Number 2 by Shostakovich. The soloist, I'm telling you now so I don't forget, saxophone solo by Bob Zaglarski, and our trombone solo by Joe Walter. We have another Shostakovich piece. The guy was really good. This music comes from a movie called The Gadfly from 1955. It was a popular Soviet historical film about Italian patriots fighting Austrian rule in the 19th century. And the predominant figure is an Arthur Burton, who becomes a revolutionary and is known as the Gadfly. The score is very popular, and the piece we're playing, I think we have, it's known as the Spanish Dance or Folk Festival, so that's it. We're playing the Folk Festival from the Gadfly by Shostakovich. These guys are good. So our next piece is highlights from Exodus. I know that sometimes, occasionally, people don't realize that Exodus was a boat. If you see the movie, then you realize this was the ship that everybody was trying to get into the Palestine Mandate, and that's what this is about. So we have the main theme, Karen, Summer in Cyprus, and the Brothers. This is highlights from Exodus. So for our last number, we're playing Invictus, which means unconquerable or invincible. And it was composed by Carl King to honor Merle Evans, who we played his March Symphonia before. And I'm reminding you that Carl King immediately preceded Merle Evans as the director of the Barnum and Bailey Circus Band. This is Invictus by Carl King. Carl King, by the way, wrote approximately between 350 and 400 marches among all the other stuff that he wrote. And they say that when he was in the field with the circus, at 2 in the morning, he'd be writing a march, and then the copyist would make the parts, and they'd play it in the afternoon. And he wrote them so fast that Barnhouse, the publisher, had to number them and give them titles later because he wrote them so fast. Anyway, this is Invictus by Carl King, and thank you for coming. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed playing it for you. Very fine holidays and have a safe trip home.